Hello, folks. Welcome back. It's your main man, Tez, as well as Travis. And on this edition of Terminology Tuesday, we're going to talk about two terms that often get confused with each other that are quite different. Today, we're going to talk about appraisals and home inspections. So go ahead, grab a pen and a piece of paper and your favorite beverage, and we'll be right back to tell you about the two. See you in a second. All right, folks, we're back. We're going to go ahead and dive into the two terms that we talked about. So, Travis, you started off. Go ahead and tell the folks what exactly is an appraisal and why it's so important to the home buying process.
Thank you, Tez. Appraisals. Wow. Is there a more like wildly contested, passionate topic in the purchase market, especially right now, than appraisals? Appraisals, quite simply, are the process in which an appraiser, certified through the state, federal government, depending on the licensing in your area, will educate us all, hopefully, on what the value of the property is based upon comparable sales in the area. So one of the big misconceptions that Tez is probably going to dive deep on his section is just the difference between those two. So keep in mind that an appraisal is only going to look at the basic condition of a home. Conventional appraisals oftentimes will overlook things that something like an FHA, which is a government product, a VA, also a government product, and USDA might catch things like chip peeling paint, those things that we probably, if we don't know anything about home buying, we've already been at least warned about those types of appraisals and how picky they can be at times. So keep in mind, the appraisal report is going to provide you with information on comparable sales in the area, and it's going to dictate the value of your property for the purchase transaction. They're going to use things like similar layouts, similar room counts, similar sizes of the home and the property to try to find those comparable sales. Um, every home changes a little bit as far as what a comparable sale is. For example, a home that sits out on 20 acres in the country is not going to be as easy to comp out as a home that's in a suburban neighborhood with, let's just say, two or three of the same models, scattered throughout the neighborhood. But essentially, the appraisal is only focused on the purchase price slash value of the property. Is that purchase price the correct purchase price? Now, there's a million and one things that we can talk about. We'll definitely do a deep dive on the appraisal. We'll talk about how appraisal guarantees come into play. We'll talk about exactly what those things we talk about all the time are, which are comps, what makes something a comp. But essentially, the overview of the appraisal is that it provides us with the value of the home. Tez, anything that I missed on that one?
The only thing I guess I don't know. I think you touched on it. I think you touched on it being comparables. Maybe might want to touch base on, typically when they talk about comparables, folks, they do look within the last 6 to 12 months of houses sold to find comparables. And then, as Travis did mention, they do talk about the different layouts and things of that nature. But if an appraiser can't find an apples to apples, there are adjustments that are made on the appraisal in terms to make it comparable. So if something isn't an exact match, the appraiser is educated enough to whereas he can add that comp and make that adjustment to whereas it will give you the value that you're looking for. So that's probably the only thing I would add in regards to that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the second and last term, which for some reason I always get the easier terms when it comes to us doing this. And ladies and gentlemen, it's not planned. But I'll go ahead and dive into the home inspection. And with the home inspection, it's just that where someone comes out and inspects the property. The home inspection is typically done right after the contract has been accepted on the property that you're looking to purchase. and the home inspector identifies any potential issues with the property. So they look at the roof, the foundation, the plumbing, the electrical, and make sure they're all in good working order. And anything that is not, they will basically in their report, they'll let you know what could be a potential, how should we say, hazard down the line or something that will need to be fixed. Also, they look at any potential safety hazards and or code violations with the home that you're about to purchase. So the home inspection really looks at the total condition of the property and what that would mean to you, and why it's so important to you is so that you can plan for any future repairs or any future upgrades that you need to do to the property. The biggest ones being anything mechanical, like a hot water tank, your furnace. When it comes to structural things like the roof, if that's an older roof, it will give you an idea of how many more years you may have on that roof that needs to be replaced. So that'll all come in the home inspection piece. So that is pretty much in a nutshell what the home inspection is and how that process goes. And with Travis, with that all said, is there anything that you would add in regards to the home inspection that I may have missed?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, right now in the purchase market, especially in all of the areas that we service, every state, um, we're doing whatever we can to get offers accepted. One of those things, quite often, is waiving your inspection. Now, this is something that I want to be 100% clear on. This is something that you're taking a risk on, but if it's necessary to get the property, that's a conversation to have with your realtor. Because those are things that we are seeing people have to do to get offers accepted in this market. And a special nugget of information, if you will, for my first timers, especially, I had a home inspection on my first home. The inspector comes out, he tells me, this looks fantastic, tells me how great everything is, and then proceeds to hand me a list that I thought was just unbelievably long of all of the imperfections of my home, along with how much it may cost to fix those things. He said it was fantastic, and then he hands me this huge list. I was torn. I felt like all the advice that I'd given people over the years, like it was for nothing because I was confused. Um, it's essentially the inspector's job to somewhat make it feel like the house is falling over. So when you get that list, go over it with your inspector. Talk about how much it's going to be to cost, how common these problems are. Those are the things that oftentimes you get that first time home buyer. They'll get that contract. They'll be, you know, over the moon excited to be a homeowner, and then they have that inspection report, and it's a good inspection report, but they don't know the difference because someone just handed them a 25-page document of everything that's wrong with their house. So keep that in mind, guys. It's very important that your inspectors are thorough. They're just doing their job. They want to make sure that you're protected.
Exactly. So you may be sitting there asking yourself, well, which are important, which do you do need, and which don't you need? Quite frankly, they're both important. With the appraisal, it's important to secure the actual loan on the property as it's telling you the value. With the inspection, it's basically letting you know what kind of condition the property that you're about to buy is in. So they're both quite important. And as Travis said, make sure you go over that inspection with your with the inspector, and then with the appraisal. As always, if there's something that is off on the appraisal, both the real estate agent and your loan officer should be able to assist you in that process as well. So, well, with that being said, if you found all of this information valuable and important, please go ahead, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as the bell notification so you're always up to date whenever we drop new content. But with that being said, I'm Tez, that's Travis, and we're your favorite LOs. Till next time, folks. See ya.